From the MMA world's reaction to Cain Velazquez's attempted murder arrest, to Beneil Dariush and the Islam Makhachev fight being back on, to Canelo Alvarez talking about a boxing fight against Kamaru Usman. All this and more in today's MMA rumor. Let's get to it. 1. The MMA world, including Dana White, reacts to the arrest of former UFC champion Cain Velazquez for attempted murder. The MMA world woke up to some shocking news this week when the details were revealed as to why Cain Velazquez, considered by many as one of the greatest heavyweights in the history of the sport, was arrested on charges of attempted murder in California. On Monday, Cain was detained by police in San Jose over a shooting. Details later emerged that he had allegedly followed the vehicle that was carrying a man who had allegedly sexually abused a child related to Cain about 100 times, according to reports in the media. Last week, the child, who was not identified but is said to be a relative of the former UFC heavyweight champion, had pinpointed Harry Goularte as the person who sexually abused him in the bathroom of a daycare facility in which the child attended. Goularte was arrested and charged for the whole thing, but he was granted supervised release by the court against prosecutors' wishes. Just a few days later, on Monday, Cain allegedly followed the vehicle carrying Goularte and 2 others. Then he allegedly shot at the vehicle, which missed Goularte and hit his stepfather, who did suffer non-life-threatening injuries. News of Cain's arrest hit the internet, and in the days that followed, we got more details of what happened. With UFC 272 taking place this weekend, UFC President Dana White has been making the interview rounds, and in a recent interview with Barstool Sports, he was asked about his thoughts on this grim incident. This is what White had to say.
I obviously feel sorry for him and his family. It's a horrible thing. I don't know enough details to speak on it, but from what I've heard, we all say we do it. If that ever happened to us, Cain did it.
Let's take a look at some other reactions from around the MMA world. Retired UFC heavyweight Jimmy Manua tweeted out this: Cain Velazquez is in trouble for shooting someone who molested his child. I stand with him on that. But I wonder if he should have shot him or beat him close to death. What would be worse in the eyes of the law? This is what UFC middleweight Sean Strickland posted. If this is true, @Cain MMA is a fucking hero, bottom fucking line. There is nothing I respect more than when a man does this. 9/11 isn't the answer for this. I'll be the first one donating to a GoFundMe for his defense. Pedophiles need to die. They can only be fixed with fire. Here's what Cain's teammate at aka Khabib Nurmagomedov tweeted about the situation. You are the man, Cain. We love you and we always stay with you. @official Cain Velazquez, #WeAreAKA. And finally, here's what UFC women's strawweight fighter Angela Hill had to say. I feel horrible for Cain and his family. This is the worst way revenge could have played out. Hoping they go easy on him. Give us your thoughts on this whole situation involving Cain Velazquez in the comments below. 2. Beneil Dariush no longer is going into surgery, will likely take on Islam Makhachev this summer. The fight that was on and then off due to an injury is squarely back on. The highly anticipated lightweight clash between Beneil Dariush and Islam Makhachev was set for UFC Vegas 49 and was to clarify who exactly would get the next lightweight title shot after champion Charles Oliveira defends the belt against Justin Gaethje in May. Dariush had to withdraw from the fight after suffering a leg injury just over 10 days before the bout. This was a shame, since Dariush is on a 7-fight win streak and had beaten the likes of Tony Ferguson and Carlos Diego Ferreira to climb up to the number 4 spot in the UFC rankings. At the same time, Islam had racked up 9 wins in a row on his way to becoming a potential title contender. The fight between the two would settle who would take on the winner of Oliveira vs. Gaethje later this year. When Dariush was forced out, Bobby Green stepped in to replace him and was subsequently mauled by Islam and lost in the first round. Everyone was pretty certain, including Islam's mentor Khabib Nurmagomedov, that Islam would fight for the title next. But this was because many believed that Dariush was out for months after doctors initially stated that he would have to have surgery on his leg. But now, Dariush has been told about another option, one that doesn't require surgery and just a ton of physical therapy. This is what he said in a recent interview with ESPN's Brett Okamoto.
Yeah, man. I mean, at first he was talking about 4 months just to start training again. And so when I heard 6 to 8 weeks, I almost started crying again. man, it was a rough week for me. I I was joking with my wife. I'm like, man, I've never cried so many times in front of my daughter. This is the most embarrassing week of my life. And but fortunately we got some good news finally.
Later in the interview, Dariush said that he would be targeting a potential fight in the summer, perhaps in July, though he'd love to have 10 weeks to prepare for Islam. The clash is one of the most highly anticipated non-title lightweight bouts in a while, given how consequential it would be and the fact that both have shown that they do belong in the top of the division. Meanwhile, Islam Makhachev, upon hearing the news, said this in a tweet about the potential Dariush fight getting rescheduled. "I don't care who you will put in front of me. I'll smash this whole division." In the days after Islam beat Green, he said he'd love to step in to face Rafael dos Anjos after Rafael Fiziev tested positive for COVID-19 and had to withdraw from their battle this coming Saturday at UFC 272. But ultimately, that didn't take place, and many are saying that Dana White is upset at Islam for giving them false hope on this, prompting them to want to reschedule the Dariush fight. But what do you think? Do you believe Dariush skipping surgery is a good idea? And what do you think about this fight getting rescheduled? Before we get to our next story, take a second to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on the latest fight news. 3. Canelo Alvarez is open to fighting UFC welterweight champion Kamaru Usman. While it does look like a long shot, the door is open and Canelo Alvarez is here for it. That is, however, if the money is right. Earlier this week in a TMZ video, Usman, who's on a roll in the UFC, having never lost in the promotion, came out with the timeline of his plans and basically said that if he beats Leon Edwards, he wants a shot at world champion boxer Canelo Alvarez. Usman, who is still healing his broken hand injury, is set to take on Edwards in a rematch of their 2015 clash in which Usman beat him via unanimous decision. But Usman has looked downright dominant in his welterweight title fights and has shut the door on any potential move up to challenge for the middleweight title, given that he and Israel Adesanya are both champions from Nigeria. But it takes two to tango, and recently while on the MMA Hour, Canelo was asked about the possibility of fighting Kamaru Usman in boxing. This is what the Mexican champion had to say.
Hey, payday.
Payday.
That's the payday, I know. But maybe, why not? You never say no, right?
Yeah. Has anyone approached you about this idea?
My trainer told me about it, and I say, well, if you say.
But it's not something really on your mind.
No, it's not really in my mind. I want a really good legacy from my career, and then we can talk about it, other things, right? Later.
While Canelo has never fought any UFC fighters, he's not ruling out the chance of fighting athletes from other combat sports. He also admitted he doesn't watch any MMA and doesn't even watch boxing. Still, it's unclear if this will actually happen since it's all just talk at the moment. But could you imagine a crossover fight between Canelo and Usman? How do you think this fight will go? There's always so much going on in the fight world, and we got it all here for you on MMA Rumor. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and hit the notification bell to keep updated with all things MMA. Thanks for watching.